Hey, what's up, guys? It's Tommy here. I'm a black Latino trans man living in Florida. Today, I want to talk about something that most trans men can use to feel more comfortable in their bodies. I want to talk about trauma informed weightlifting, aka body movement, or we can call it trauma informed movement. Backstory, why am I doing this? Well, I have figured out that throughout my life, I had to create safe spaces first within my own body so I could feel safe within my own body, within my own skin. And that took some time and some navigating because I didn't have the tools that have been created today. So I want to make sure you guys have them so you don't go through the same stuff that I had to go through. The other reason why I like trauma informed weightlifting, aka bodybuilding, or however you want to call it, right? That not only did it help me feel safer and stronger within my own body, but it helped me deal with a lot of the mental health stuff that comes with just being from a marginalized community. I think oftentimes, especially trans people, do not understand the capacity or the effect that we deal with, right? So let me explain to you that a lot of us are walking around stressed out and we're so used to it and we have a high tolerance of it because we're constantly dealing with it. In my experience, right, I grew up in church, not a safe space for a trans kid. My dad was the principal of a Christian school that I used to attend, not a safe space for a trans kid. And then when I came home, although my parents loved me to death, they didn't really understand not my sexuality or my gender expression. So oftentimes they would say things that are really hurtful. Didn't really have that many places where I could be myself authentically and fully for more than a few hours, maybe a day. And that the few hours or maybe a day didn't really come till maybe my second year of high school. So it's been a while, right? So a lot of times, like, I thought that was somewhere safe and I wasn't, and they would always come back to bite me in the butt. That is just the trans part. On top of that, because I am a black Latino, I've had to deal with racism and colorism all at the same time. So I had to deal with going to a school that I would get picked on because I was black and didn't speak like an African American or what they call speaking black. I always thought that was such a rude comment, but whatever. Then, to Latinos or the Latinos where I was at, I was too black. So they didn't really consider me Latino even though I was born in Panama to Panamanian parents. And even my grandmother is Native Indian of Panama. So you can say like I'm actually like somewhat native, right? Only a quarter. Not going too deep into that. So those are my three intersectionalities that made it hard to just exist. You know, although the trans part nobody would really know until later on, but I was very masculine presenting in a very female body, so whew, yeah, times were tough, and I didn't really understand that I was always in survival mode until I got older and had to deal with some of that trauma. Um, and so I could deal with my own triggers and not always feel like I was surviving. So the first part of my journey was into bodybuilding, and bodybuilding was the first thing that I could do that made me feel somewhat more comfortable in my skin, right? I had the opportunity to compete and express masculinity the best way I could, even though I had to do it in a feminine presenting when I was not competing. I was just being a normal, 20 something, 30 something, right? And I got a lot of unnecessary hate, you know. I remember my girlfriend at the time was always uber, like, pissy because people would constantly stare at me trying to figure out what I was. And, then people just are very, very, they're very mean when they can't tell what you are. Or when they finally find out that what you are, like, uh, just a masculine woman at the time, they do really mean things. Like, key your car and leave you nasty messages or complain to management about you when you haven't done anything wrong. And that was my life. And then when I finally decided to transition, some things felt better. Like within my own body, it felt great, right? Like I felt more of myself, and I felt confident with this body. And the more and more and more that I, transitioned and started spending more time in the gym, really bodybuilding and doing what I wanted to do, the safer that my body felt. So why do I think that's still trauma informed, even though it was aesthetics? Because I needed to feel better in my body, and that's why I did it. And when other trans men ask me why the gym is so important, and I'm like, well, what's the easiest way to feel better in your body? Hit the gym. And I don't mean like you have to look like a bodybuilder like I wanted to look, but it definitely makes you feel strong, right? And the stronger you feel, the safer you feel out in the world. So nowadays, I knowingly, now they know, take a trauma-informed approach, right? Not every workout is meant for me to go all out and stuff. Some workouts are really meant for me to feel my body, feel great in my body, and also to lift the anxiety and all the other things that come along with being trans and mental health stuff. And also like it's just a high level of stress that you don't really are noticing when you are trans. I have a high tolerance for stress, right? I deal with the stress of being trans. I deal with the stress of being black. I deal with the stress of being Latino. And then, just moving on to my day-to-day life, bills, goals, dreams on top of all of that. And I'm not the only person that goes through that either. I'm sure there are other people in marginalized communities that can kind of, at the very least, understand where I'm coming from. So, for trans men specifically, I really do feel like the gym is more than just lifting weights, man. Like, I'm going to show you through a video that I recorded for something else, how to basically apply trauma-informed weightlifting. But again, it's about feeling better in your body, it's about feeling safer in your body, it's about being able to manage your triggers a lot easier so that when you finally go out to the world gets the best version of you and you also feel safer within that world. Anyway, if you want to know more about trauma-informed fitness, you can also send me a DM, or book a free strategy call with me. It's free, and there's no payment for the call. Or just me and you going back and forth about ways that you can feel better in your body at the time. If you want to hire me, cool. If you don't want to hire me, cool. I get something from the conversation either way. The other thing that I wanted to implore you is let's talk in the DM to see if maybe we can help each other out there. Leave a comment. If this video is somewhat helpful to you, then go ahead and send it to a friend. Let them know about it. But yeah, anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Have a great day.